What's up, everybody? J Heat Sports Media coming at y'all again with that fire as always. Spitting the hot topics and getting the sports conversation started. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Football, basketball, and boxing. Want to get into some football. Got to finish out the top 25 quarterbacks of all time. Haven't finished that list. We were down to the last two. Y'all probably all know who it is, but let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So, the top two quarterbacks of all time in NFL history are none other than Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Both these guys played during the same time in NFL history, which is what really makes it special. It was a special time to be watching football, and with Brady just recently retiring, it's kind of the end of an era, so to speak. These guys revolutionized the game of football, and in a lot of people's eyes are the two best players that's ever played the game. They competed against each other, and it made for one of the greatest rivalries, if not the greatest rivalry in football history. And we're going to miss those guys for sure. I was a huge Peyton Manning fan and had a lot of respect for Tom, and can't say enough about the two. Whoever you have as the best is up to you. Most people with consensus say Tom Brady because he's got those rings. It's kind of hard to look past the 7 rings. He went to 10 Super Bowls, as we know, in his 22 years of playing football, and won 7 of those. That probably will never be matched in NFL history. Tom Brady was also a 3-time league MVP, a 6-time All-Pro, 3 of those first team. That's special. He already talked about the fact of how guys like Marino and Young and Elway and all these guys, that's All-Pros that add up to the amount that those guys had. So he was a skilled guy that developed over the years because he started out more as a game manager, as we all know. He always had that clutch gene in him, Tom did, which is what made him so special. And he was always a leader, the greatest leader maybe in sports history. And then he worked at it and worked hard to get himself to where, from a skill perspective, he was a guy that could win those league MVPs. It helped for him to get some more receiving help around him with a Moss and a Gronkowski. But he also improved with his ability to read defenses, his ability to call the plays himself from the line. All of that increased as time went on. But Peyton Manning, you can make a legitimate case for as the greatest quarterback of all time, too. From just a day-in, day-out basis, Tom Brady said how he modeled his game after Peyton and was always working to try to live up to the standard that he said Peyton set. He called Peyton the most prolific thrower of the football in NFL history, which is saying something. That kind of means he's the best. Now, Peyton, he was only a 2-time champion, but he's the only football player, only quarterback to take 4 different coaches to the Super Bowl. He was the first to win a Super Bowl with 2 different teams, which Tom then later did. But even though he can't compete from the Super Bowl aspect in terms of trips or wins, he is a 7-time first-team All-Pro in his career of only about 17 years playing. So he played 5 less years than Tom and was an All-Pro first team more times than Tom was an All-Pro, period. 10-time total All-Pro. He is the leader for league MVPs with 5, which is he's the only person with 5 MVPs in the history of the National Football League. Peyton Manning was a pro. The two couldn't have been more different, with Tom being the 199th pick and then living up to the legend that he created through his own hard work ethic, versus Peyton being the prototype coming out that was the number 1 pick that everybody expected to be great, that had the weight of the world on his shoulders, kind of like a LeBron James, and in a lot of ways lived up to it, outside of maybe he could have been better in the postseason for sure and won some more Super Bowls. But everything else you could ask for a quarterback, he did it, and better than anybody probably's ever done it. So these are the two greatest quarterbacks of all time. Whoever you got as 1 and 2 is up to you. I think they are right there neck and neck, and I get the argument for Tom Brady as number 1. Got no problems with that. I'll put him number 1 on my list out of respect for those 7 championships. But again, what Peyton did is so spectacular from just an individual standpoint, game in, game out, season in, season out, that he deserves to be in that conversation too. And he's my number 2. Holla at y'all. All right, that's all the time I got. Y'all know what it is, and you know what you're looking for. J-Heat Sports Media. Remember to like, subscribe, or hit the bell. Get at me in the comments. Let's go back and forth on YouTube, Instagram, at the Vault JMU414, and of course, what's up TikTok? Holla at y'all next time.